Consider the weight of failure, if you will, not as mortal men know it in their fleeting wars and withering loves, but as it festers in the belly of hell, where time forgets and punishment does not. Malam walked the endless iron throat of this, burdened by this ancient certainty, a praetor of famine, a unique abomination amongst his peers. He has stood at the tip of apotheosis. One task, one divine theft from the grasp of a rival duke, and he would have risen, remade among the black horde of hell, to whisper counsel into the ears of archdukes and shake the vaults of pandemonium itself. Failure had chained him instead. Now the corridors pulled him forward toward reckoning. Within the splintered vaults of his mind, voices stirred, restless and unaligned. One murmured, sleek and soothing, "Praise him. Let us sing. Let us swell his pride. He loves the scent of submission." Another, sour and cracked, whispered, "Words will not save us. He summoned us in silence, without theatre or jest. Judgment is past. Offer betrayal or perish." A third, lush and laughing, "Why fear? Hunger stirs all things. A glance, a breath. Even dukes crave mortal flesh." The voices did not cease. They coiled in the hollow of his mind, threading doubt and hunger through every crack of thought. Each pulled against the other, treacherous, pleading, seducing, until sense itself began to fray. But the corridor gave no answer. This sighed, leaking heat and oily smoke from its ancient wounds. The great doors uncoiled, massive and corroded, spilling their sweetness, the stench of honey-rotted black. The throne room swelled vast and wrong. Columns twisted like melting wax. Walls breathed as if belonging to some forgotten beast. Too many angles where there should be none. Before him sat the Archduke, a saturnine fiend, his hide a prison of faces and limbs straining silently beneath translucent skin. Under a scarred sigil, his great yellow eyes opened and flickered like a sun long dead. Malam. Soundless, the name formed without voice or breath. Malam knew it only in the wet chambers of his being, where thought dissolved into primal dread. They communed then, memories traded like flesh, desires turned inside out, no bargains, no mercy, only the vast, patient certainty of the Archduke's will. Your shape offends. Your failure is known. Scour the lands of the false Redeemer Yahweh, and we will see you rewarded generously. No flames, not at first. Only pressure, unbearable, inward, bone folding, meat twisting, pride stripped nerve by nerve. 3 voices shrieked, cursed, begged, then blurred and became one, and then ashes. Ashen wings burst from his back, and his mouth split, the voices now given flesh. They screamed in unison, and he found his own voice silenced. His punishment complete, Malam retreated from the chamber to earn his penance. There is no throne for famine in the iron city of this. No seat among the 7 serpent heads bears its mark, and yet Malam moves unopposed through the black smoke of the court, and even the archdevils fall silent in his presence. He is not gluttony, but he is its reckoning. The stillness after the feast, the ash where the field once bloomed. Where the lords of excess gorge themselves on the world, Malam leaves nothing behind. The theologians of New Antioch burned every record of his origin. Some claim he was an angel of mercy sent to feed the starving, who watched them die and was unmade by their hunger. Others believe he was born directly from the third mouth of hell, a miscarriage of divine silence and endless want. Whatever the truth, Malam no longer speaks with his own voice. Instead, he opens his body. From the torn cavity of his chest gapes a vertical, tooth-ringed maw, impossibly deep and ever writhing. Inside squirm the souls of failed preachers, those who offered false hope to the hungry, who called down blessings on empty plates. Their mouths still move, and their sermons still echo, mangled into endless shrieking. This suffering is Malam's breath. His form is cadaverous, tall and lean, carved with sigils that pulse like dying stars. His limbs are too long, his skin is tight as drumhide. His wings are laced with abandoned tormentor chains and split sinew, dragging behind him like banners of starvation. He wears no symbols, no armor, no crown. His authority is carved into his very flesh. Malam is followed by the withering host, a procession of starving yoke fiends, decaying hell knights, gaunt beasts and silent wretched, who believe that by suffering in his shadow, they might be the last to starve. His presence does not simply break armies, but rather unthreads civilization itself. Fields spoil and wells curdle, and mothers cannot feed their young. Though denied a seat at the court of the seven-headed serpent, none dare contest him. Mammon courts him, and Beelzebub mocks him. Malam will answer neither. He walks alone through battlefields of Christendom, untouched, unseen until it is too late. When he passes, the wounded do not scream. They beggar themselves before him and plead for mercy. And there is none. Due to mission preparedness requirements, reader will have received temporary access to documentation on Malam. Malam, the Prince of Famine, also known as the Hollow Man, the Breathless Angel, the Third Voice, and the Ashen Tithe. Subject Malam is a demonic entity operating at or beyond Praetorian rank within the infernal hierarchy. While not recognized among the 7 serpent thrones of this, Subject moves with sovereign authority through infernal theaters and is treated with silent deference by some known archdukes. Subject is not associated with the gluttony paradigm, though it shares superficial attributes with various entities of that designation. Rather, it appears to serve a distinct metaphysical domain, famine as reckoning, a concept antithetical to both abundance and indulgence. The subject does not consume to sustain, nor to gorge. It consumes to deny. Subject is believed to have originated from either the third mount of hell or an apostate choir angel, unmade through exposure to prolonged mortal suffering. Visual profile. Entity stands at an estimated 3.4 meters in height, cadaverously lean, bearing no known heraldry, sigils of allegiance, or infernal regalia. Subject's skin is stretched taut, grey-white, and etched with bioluminescent glyphs of unknown script resembling terminal Enochian. Notable physical anomaly: vertical thoracic orifice lined with concentric rings of sharpened bone. Orifice displays continuous peristalsis and is functionally bottomless. Deep scans detect auditory emissions from within, consistent with voice print logs suggest the constant agonized homiletics of and Field Captain Jonathan Muse, deceased. Subject is non-verbal, but expresses will through environmental manipulation. Presence correlates with crop failure within 12 to 18 kilometer radius, localized dehydration of water sources, emotional suppression in sentient organisms, speech inhibition noted in multiple engagements, collapse of social structures, acts of voluntary subjugation observed among enemy units. Subject exerts passive dominion over a procession of lesser infernal entities known as the Withering Host. Skeletal yoke fiends, decayed hell knights, wretches, and converted zealots. Followers demonstrate mass fasting, self-flagellation, and willful silence. Identified by Recon Unit Alphonse during cleaning operations at the Pilgrim Refugee Corridor, survivors described a walking breach in heaven. Local vegetation, fauna, and morale collapsed within 48 hours. Entire populations fell into inert stupor or began vocal praise in unknown dialects. Subject was not engaged. 37,000 civilians missing or presumed dead, 5 command personnel lost. 1 Praetor-class demon aligned with Beelzebub found partially devoured. Internal organs overwritten with unholy script. Sample archived in Operation Thorn Lantern in 1851 AD was an intercept attempt at Falmark Ridge Basilica. Subject entered consecrated ground unaffected. Deployment of artillery, relic-based theophantic ordnance, and canonized warframes resulted in no lasting effect. Aftermath excerpt. Subject did not react to barrage, did not alter course. Those who fired wept. Those who did not tore their eyes out. A trench cleric fell to his knees and began fasting unto death. He kept on repeating the phrase, "The Ark sang itself to rust," until his death, roughly 4 days later. Commander. Theological interpretation and infernal relations. Codified interpretation, trench doctrine. Malam is the manifest of denial of providence. A sentient famine, sent as punishment for presumption. He is not to be engaged, bartered with, or studied. Any personnel exhibiting signs of sermonal distortion must be immolated without confession. Black Gospel fragments, Vault Theta 4, claim Malam is the Praetor, summoned by imbalance in soul weights. Others suggest he was a divine custodian unmade by failure. Maman's followers offer tribute and are ignored. Beelzebub's followers mock, but retreat from sightings. Belphegor's enclaves show instability near Malam's host. Strategic risk summary. Malam does not conquer, he erodes. Cultures fall not in fire, but in surrender. Command structures collapse into willing death. Witness account, Falmark collapse. My commander folded his uniform, laid it on the altar, and walked into his maw, smiling. The directive from Malam, do not engage. Do not observe without theological authorization. Enact obscure protocol Omega-3 upon confirmed sightings. No recovery, no redemption, only absence. Authorization, Director, Office of Irregular Hostilities. He does not march with an army. He starves the world until he builds one. Appendix A, Witness Logs and Withering Host Observations. Witness Log 1, Private Kellen Rowe, 19 Siege Infantry. Transcript recovered post-mortem. There was no sound when he arrived, no trumpet, just cold, like everything inside me clenched up. I saw my sergeant kiss the dirt, muttering prayers I'd never heard. The thing behind me, gaunt, chained, its stomach ripped open, it smiled, and I know that it wanted to starve. We didn't fight. We just stood there, waiting. Witness Log 2, Field Nurse Emra Voss, 12th Trench Medical, Survivor Debrief. The air stopped moving. Our food rations turned black. One of the wounded just curled into a ball and began whispering sermons. Said he could feel the breath of God inside the thing's mouth. I tried to pray, but my tongue bled. Witness Log 3, Unidentified Civilian, audio salvaged from fallen commune. Verdict, terminal exposure. We fed the children first, then the elders, and then ourselves. He watched and he didn't move, just opened his maw. There was peace in the end, and we were grateful. Withering Host Observations. Composition of Malam's entourage varies, but consistently includes the following known entity classes: Yoke Fiends, bound dragging iron sleds laden with famine bells. They emit no sound. Visual presence causes vertigo and mass confusion. Wither Knights, former Hell Knights now skeletal and gaunt. Armour fused to their ribs, weapons appear ornamental. Actual dangers lie within their radius of psychic despair. Suffering choirs, floating clusters of emaciated humanoids fused at the torso, mouths and eyes sewn shut, emit mournful hymns in reversed liturgical cant, despite not being able to open their mouths. The wretched, civilian class infernal followers, denuded of identity, silent, entirely passive, yet known to impede escape routes. Note, members of the host do not appear to communicate or react independently. Their behavior is gravitational, drawn towards Malam like debris to a singularity of suffering. Engagement is discouraged. Extermination is ineffective. The host withers, but it does not die.